So let's we were having this conversation, Mahlodi, in an abnormal situation. And I'm saying abnormal in all sense of the word. The fact that right now we're in a pandemic is abnormal, right? That's the first point. And even in the world, there's been a lot of things that are happening socially. In America right now, there is a whole movement, #Black Lives Matter, where in that part of the world, you actually have a police force, which is predominantly white, which is brutal towards Black people. And to juxtapose this and to bring it home, we also have our fair share of racism. We have our fair share of police brutality. In fact, during this lockdown, a gentleman by the name of Collins Khoza was murdered by the military. And it saddens me that we only start to speak about him after the George Floyd incidents. Not to say that we must erase the George Floyd incidents, but we also have our issues here at home. As if that was enough, we have a cold front. Figuratively. Now, this cold front and this other cold front that I'm going to talk about, which is gender-based violence, a series of femicides. I was watching the news yesterday. There was another lady in Easteras who was also found to be murdered by the boyfriend. So we are living in history, and people are not realizing this. So we can't actually also come to these platforms and not touch base on those kind of things. As
a great
leaders,
injustice will be done.
As leaders, that will be very much wrong. So I would just like to actually pick your mind on those kind of things, particularly on the GBV, the gender-based violence that we're seeing, the femicides and everything like that. As a woman yourself, surely this hits home. You get what I'm saying? What's your thoughts there? You know, your frustrations, maybe just briefly.
Ben, this one will actually it will render this conversation into I don't know. It's difficult, Ben. It's difficult, and I think the scary thing about this is knowing that there's no way where you can turn to. There's no way where you can turn to. You know, I'd like to talk about the concept of a home. Just for a second, picture yourself as Mana Skolo, you're going to school and you're having a hard day, go skolong. It's just not a nice day. Mathematics, trigonometry is doing the most. And you just know, man, when I get home, everything will be okay. Because it's home, it's my place of sanctity, it's my sanctuary, it's my place of rest. You know that there is someone there who will protect you, who will shield you, who will comfort you. You know that there is somebody there who will fight for you. You know that there is somebody there that has your best interest at heart. My position here is that women in South Africa don't have a home. We don't have a home. Home in the literal sense, a place to go to rest, but even home in the sense of our government, our leaders, people that we look to come with practical solutions that will enable us to actually feel safe. So I'm one person who enjoys jogging. I'm shocked that I'm saying I enjoy it now, but I guess it's things that happen over time. And, you know, every time I'm getting ready for a jog, I think, but it's a privilege that I'm doing this, but also if something were to happen, you literally live with your life and your heart in the palm of your hands because you don't know when it will be you next. And you don't know which home you will turn to. Who will you call on to comfort, support, and tell you that everything will be all right because this is actually what I'm doing to make everything become all right. We are an endangered species. I remember watching a video of a teenage girl. She's supposed to be at that age in her life where you go to school, you have a rough day, but you know, I'll have a nice warm supper, I'll be comforted, and you know, my life will move on as a child, the way we grew up.
Yeah.
But that child is actually leading a march in the name of gender-based violence, saying that unfortunately I didn't choose to be a woman, I didn't choose to be female, so what is it that I must do? So then it's difficult. It's difficult because I'm thinking to myself that even the marching, how many years have we seen this happen? It's almost 6 years in a row now. How many years have we been promised about commissions and money that will be taken from the coffers to relegate these issues? How many years have we had plenaries led by women with the president in that room with promises being made? How many years into this? How many years of women must be buried? You know, this past issue, that one, Yona, it's supposed to be something that you say, this is the last straw. It's supposed to get to a point where we all say in unison, this is the last straw, because somebody will take accountability. You can't, as a leader of a nation, watch that happen and then come back and say, yes, we will do something, or yes, money will be spent, or yes, a commission of inquiry will be led. How many more people? And I begin to think to myself, Hore, that means women are indeed an endangered species. There's a wall that I saw in Russia where it's a mural that they've done. I think it's in the city center. But this mural, it's a skyscraper building. And on that building, they've planted heels. I'm not sure if I can show you this. And it really, it hit me. It hit me. I took a screenshot of it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this. Can you see that? Those are women's shoes. On this building.
Yeah, I can see.
The significance of this is that these are all the women, I think it was Russia, women that were murdered through crimes of passion, through gender-based violence, and there's been no justice. So it's heavy. It's heavy, Ben, and you think to yourself, Hore, I heard you in the beginning, and you said, as thought leaders, we need to come up with solutions. But I'm at that point of asking myself, Hore, what kind of a solution will this one be? Does it mean physically taking action? And another thing is, women will be vilified in society. What's like something very painful during the week. It's a show called Mama Zala on Moja Love. And I'm so sorry to change the tone of the conversation, but it was in that episode, the woman was abused brutally by her husband. We don't know the full story, but when she tells her story, there were a series of abuse cases that were witnessed by her son, right? And the son, there's nothing that's changing here. And the one day he took it upon himself and he killed the man. And now guess what happens in society? The woman's in-laws, they ostracized her. And she says, guys, I was at the point of fighting for my life. Do you not understand? You guys knew all along. Every time, family meeting, was it me who was supposed to die?
Sure.
Because now my son has seen this. He's living in dire circumstances and he's taken it upon himself to protect me. But now I'm the villain.
Yeah, no, I think, this is very sad, and we find ourselves in this, and I guess it's also very frustrating, in all sense of the word. So that I think that the proposal that I gave to say maybe, because I feel like I don't know, like exactly. I'm also at that point where I don't know, like what has to be done.
Oh, Ben, I
You
don't
get what I'm saying?
know.
Like
I don't
because
know.
you do have, like, I look at it from a leadership perspective, I look at it from a culture perspective, I look at it from a patriarchy perspective, I look at it from a religion perspective, and every of these compartments and many more, you just see this perpetuation, you know.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think like for me it has gone to that point where I was just like, this is way too broad. And then where do we even start? Because you look
Where
at
do we
things,
start?
you look at things like, I come from a, Kemopedi or and that side we still,
Eh.
but it's just us, it's
Hey,
just me.
Lisera! Yo,
Yeah.
Lisera!
So and with those kind of things come things like lobola, and you hear someone saying, or no, like mosadi wa ka go ntšhitše magadi, o swantse o dire so le so le so, and that kind of ownership that you see. And that's why I'm saying that when you look into culture as well, there is this thing that it perpetuates it. When you look into leadership, I mean,
Yes.
women leaders, there are certain spaces whereby they are not really, they are rejected.
No.
You get what I'm saying?
No, you can't.
You look at, like, that's why I just feel like this thing, it's just
it's multifaceted.
It's multifaceted, and it's deep in us. Even in religion, you do have certain spaces where they will tell you that no, you can't have.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes it's
And to your point, it just means there are crimes that are more prioritized than others, because to deny a woman her existence and to deny her the ownership of herself in one space, but then to say in a different space we must fight gender-based violence, it's an oxymoron. We must address it at that level.
It's a contradiction.
It must be addressed at all levels.
In mathematics, we have something called you prove by negation.
I must make a note. We're learning.
So when you prove by negation, you actually you don't prove you're given a statement, but you don't prove the statement, but you prove the negation of the statement to actually show that actually the statement is wrong. It's a powerful tool. And the contradiction, the negation and the contradiction that I see is that we are very quick to talk about race, because when I look at male privilege and white privilege, this is privilege, and privilege functions the same wherever it is. So sometimes I see a contradiction, especially amongst us guys, when coming to race, quick to jump into the bandwagon.
Very quick. Very quick.
You get what I'm saying? But now when we talk about, like, when coming to the issue of gender-based violence and everything like that, it's
selective.
Like we're selective.
Selective activism.
So, and it's all about privilege, because privilege will never talk about, because when you talk about privilege, it means that I'm benefiting something from that.
Of course. So you can't confront that which feeds you.
What feeds you. That's why some white people, when we talk about race, they become emotional. Because they understand that they actually benefit, and they continue to benefit from white privilege and white supremacy. It's the same with male privilege. Absolutely. The fact that I can go out at night and jog, like, without even thinking of anything, that's male privilege. You get what I'm saying? So I think like it's multifaceted, but it needs to be broken down from all this. But we need also some collaborative efforts. Government should come in and all of those kind of things. I always give an example, especially when we talk about these things about, remember when HIV/AIDS was still new, and it was a very big, pandemic, and in South Africa it was doing a lot of things. And look at how collaboratively society, government, you know what I'm saying? They came together, and there was a lot of, like, when you open the TV, HIV this, there were shows on HIV, there were this and everything. Now we have shows like Uzalo, right? Whereby, not Uzalo per se, but we also need to question the media, because you have, like, what we see in the soapies is violence.
Yes.
When
yes.
a young child,
it's
a perpetuation of violence. A young child who's growing up watching maybe whatever soapy, they want to be a Gaddafi when they grow up. They want to be a Jack Mavas.
Of course, because that's a display of power.
You see, so I feel like also we need the way in which, maybe we might not even have fought HIV to that point, but I think at this point in time, everyone is aware of it. Everyone knows how to protect themselves. And of course, it's unfair to give that, comparison. But what I'm trying to drive here is that we need to have a collaborative sort of. Government must play
100%.
Citizens must play
everyone,
their part.
Every stakeholder must play their part.
Needs to play their part. In the families, at homes, there we need to start. Because, also the way we are raised as boys, So that's why I'm saying this thing is deep.
It's very deep. And what you're saying about, it's actually, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but it's actually the role of cooperative governance, if I'm understanding it correctly. Sure. And we have that department, but where is the cooperative governance? And I don't want to point fingers.
It's focusing on cigarettes.
In the face of a pandemic where, somebody once said that actually men are the pandemic. It's not alcohol, it's men. Yeah. So in the same way that we will point fingers and say this is the role of cooperative governance, to bring together resources from the different departments and to create an ally that can fight this, we also need to do the same. I'm an advocate of playing your part with what you have, where you are. So sometimes it becomes so difficult, like I was saying to you, it becomes so difficult to know where you can turn to for help. But I believe that all of us in our homes, in that minute community, in that microcosm of society, we can play our roles to educate our fathers, to educate our brothers. And it's unfortunate that that's also our responsibility. My younger sister once said, how is it that we can give birth to these people, but still we must answer to these people? They are killing us, and we must shield ourselves from the very people that we gave birth to, Ganjani. But unfortunately, maybe that's the yoke we've been given. We've been given that yoke as nurturers and as teachers to educate. So in our homes, I believe that each and every one of us can play the role of a cooperative governor that says, in my space, what can I do? And I actually read something the other day to say, how about we start having accountability in government, and government must account to the citizens. So if you are saying IPID is investigating this, who from society or from the community is part of that panel to really put a stamp on what you said you are investigating and to verify the claims that you are making? So we need to start being part of local government communications. We need to be part of whatever's happening in our community, because this thing it'll better psychologically. That song in soccer that they sing, I don't know the full lyrics, but very psychologically. I think if I can just pick up something from that song, it'll better.
So so
that before they even enter the playing field, they have done it.
Sure.
The minute we start looking at this issue on a broad scale and we're saying nationally we're struggling with gender-based violence, it becomes psychologically numbing. Whereas if you look at it in your own immediate surroundings, in your own household, there's something happening there that you can change. There's a small 5-year-old boy who's already showing some, unbecoming behavior. That's the behavior that you need to deal with, because Kausani, that's the very same man that perpetrates a crime that becomes so heinous that the entire nation must now be on a standstill. So I think we need to play the role of cooperative governance. If there's something that you can do in your local ward, you don't even have to be political to participate in these things. You don't need to be politically affiliated. You step into your councillor's ward and say, about such and such a thing. I want to know, I'm a citizen of this country. And then what is the role of democracy if we can't engage with these things on that level? So you're not able, but I think each of us can start where we are with what we have and then take it from there, because then we will have created a united front. I know that in my home, I've addressed something like this. And some of these things, it's a seed that you plant. It's not something that will happen overnight. You just continue planting these seeds. There's a show that I love, Skim Sam, Grata Skim Sam, Lena. Skim Sam.
Yeah. No, the storyline.
Skim Sam, I think I was still in high school, you know, because storylines are on, yes, that drama, you know, but ultimately it's SABC educating the nation.
Sure.
And you know, it's those kinds of shows, like you alluded to, shows that perpetuate violence. Why is it that mainstream media cannot accept? And it's not like Adio. There are young people that are creatives that are submitting proposals to say, I would like to show this kind of story and narrative on national TV. Why? You guys must actually be held accountable for what you are showing, because it is through what you show and the story that we continually tell that shape the mind of young people. So all of us are accountable. All of us.